Right, another practical application of using parabolas and finding the equation of them. You can pause and read through the question if you like. We've got an aeroplane taking off from Auckland and it's flying in a parabolic shape across to Invercargill, a distance of 1100 kilometres away. We're told that the maximum height of the flight is 4840. So once again it would be quite helpful and useful to put a y-axis down through the centre, and clearly I have an obvious x-axis. Now to find the equation to model this flight we need 3 points on the curve. 1, 2, 3. So obviously one of them, the y-intercept, 4840. Now this point over here, I can see that the total distance across between the two is 1100, which means from 0 to halfway, or from Invercargill to halfway there, must be a distance of 550. And if this is an x and y axis, then that would be the point negative 550, or the x coordinate, negative 550, which gives me 2 x-intercepts. Now I have 3 points on my curve, so now we can use stat into the calculator. You can see I've got the points in there. Graph 1 calc, I can see the points in there. Because it's a parabola we choose x squared, and there are my numbers. Now it would pay to round them, obviously a negative because it's an upside down parabola. A there, we'll write it as 0.016. I think that should be very clear. 0.16 x squared. You can see that b is 0, which means we don't need the middle term at all. And c obviously is meant to be 4840. It just sometimes depends how the calculators work those numbers out. Plus 4840, which is the y-intercept. So that's the equation of my curve. Now we're told about the pilot doing a final check to make sure they'll be flying high enough to clear Mount Cook. Mount Cook's highest point is that, and it's 320 kilometres away from Invercargill. So back this way, 320 kilometres back that way. So we need to do 550 minus 320, which means Mount Cook is on an x coordinate of 230. Coming up here to a height of 3754, and we want to know whether that's above the curve or hopefully below the curve. So what we really want to find out is how high, or exactly where the plane is when x equals 230. So if x is 230, what's the height, the y value of my plane? There's lots of ways we can do that. If we come over to our calculator and we go into graph, and we're going to graph this equation. Plus and it's all on there. You might have to change the view window, but I can clearly see mine. We want to calculate a y value, so the answers to everything are under GSolve. We need more options, and now we can calculate a y value when x is 230. I can clearly see that the height of the plane at that point would be 3993.6 metres. So I can fill that in now. 3993.6 metres, that's what the plane is doing. So obviously if Mount Cook is a height of 3,754 metres, it's clearly going to be below the plane, which is all good. So our answer would be yes, and we need to support that by explaining the plane is at a height, I suppose I'd use the word altitude, it's at a height of 3993.6 metres over Mount Cook, which is only 3754 metres high. Right, you have another look at that and see if you could do that question by yourself.